kamu naman. Kaya kung doon kita rin. Kung doon yung matutubo. Ay, may isang bata. May tulo na kira mo sa minak. Dahil kita ulit, din taman mo siya. Sumay
Buat.
dahil sa kanang iklaw ka na yung kan.
Iya, aku sana.
Bawa ng
Belum boleh pindah aku. Belum boleh nak.
Ya, belum nak.
To welcome People's Alliance Party Leader, Sidi Benjamin Mamandarubuka, Nausuluweti, and the members of the PAP team from Fiji and New Zealand. Sabi mo kayo magpasok sa out! Alright! Bersama Sermai, Nabitini, right now. Turut kanala ni Sermai. Nak kesan? And of course, Deputy Party Leader! Yes, Hustle, you're up there. You want to come here, Cecil? Yeah. Ooh, it's a letting go now.
Nawalimu sana kreme sa ating unang ito soka na kabilang ninday. Maramot tau ko may bireki. Gimakilaw ko ya. Hindi ko yan nga ito dudumikin ako ito nga nang bitilin. Di mo lang. Esa una cosa que me da un solo nel namas me da un solo. Turang lagi babi rubu ke muni nak runde ko nak kabina dai dai. Sa kale mun mo nak. Era buku di no itu to buku ni bike mami. Ke me songo ni hotel ke nando ni naik ni sa kala ko. Ya da sa ran me buran me biti na libri ni me songo. Ke le wayana karabal mai ke me sota ke me Sangat itu lagi, karena kami orang ini kurang kerut, ya kami sakit dan orang ini buke, orang ini lama, karena orang ini tober, karena orang ini tahu. Kami sampai sulit sangat tu nak kami nilai nak kerut, ini mesti kita tahu orang ini mesok nak kami orang ini kurang. Kami masih naik karena orang ini lama, kami masih sangat ini membuat nak kami orang ini kurang. Kalau orang nak kerut, ini kita kerut mata dia mesok. Kami sama mesti nak kami orang ini nilai, ada mesti cisu ni mesok, kami orang kurang.
ini pada kita wakil ni mai. Kena long di punuan di sorte na kabinet kayo ng committee. Kau na espasyo ng sorte na kabinet. Kusana kurang na dito di parti di muna na. So kurang na talaga na guguin di parti di kurang na kanal. Kurang na talaga na di parti. Apalagi na sa simpan. Kurang na. Yung talaga na nandulangin ni sebenarnya buat. Jadi saya nyusulan di video nanti lawan mungkin. Dan usaha di komite. Buat berarti kok. Karena orang kita masuk dan akan buat dengan kebutuhan sponsors. Sa nubitan ko tayo, kita berkirim na mulai menang yang marah akan buat. Orang kita marah tak masuk dan akan buat. Akan dinaki. Siapa yang mengulikan saya ada ngomong ini nak kena masuk tanah kami pun tahu lah. Macam mai, umum nasional kan orang toko dikir, non dapat. Tapi pun selain sepati, pokoknya kena diusahakan tapi cuma kita mai pun akan nanti. Yang minta, minta kalau mai akan buat naya lebih toko, minta nama doat, yang kena tahu lagi, bisa tak. Tapi minta yang nama kalau di sana kelihatan itu, dia punya negara satu tadi baru mengambilkan orang satu lagi. Karena dia waktu dulu, yang bos sana akan yang salah. Kata dia dah punya orang salah, tetap orang PAP, people selain semua. For the benefits of our fellow Fijians, we are here tonight to celebrate the new party that has been formed, of which our leader. In front of us.
Yes.
For that purpose, I warmly welcome you to this dinner tonight. Ikaw din ito rin marang kumita. Hindi na tayo tayo na marutaga. Nasuwa na kami po. Feel relaxed. Wala tayo na rumungin tayo. Kaya ba tayo? Bebe ka sa atin lang. Wala tayo na rumungin tayo. Nawalin.
I hope everybody's enjoying themselves and it's nakabalik naman na kaya marap tayo ng dasong na kami Singapore. Thank you all very much. Kinakin for the third pag-imalita ka. Siko ike matatagit yung na ulo niya niyan sa nagaki. Magkaki na may nabuto niya niyan may rang. Kaya sa na may ikaw na dhoro kay Daniden. Cuma talaga na kami Singapore. Tawag niyo naman na wonderful achievement. My name is Sai Lele and I'm pleased to lead the committee, the People's Alliance Party Committee in New Zealand. And it gives me great pleasure to add on to what the Siha has done by welcoming all. 4 years ago, you'll be aware, we were doing the same thing. Fundraising for the same leader, but a different party. So now we're doing the same thing, fundraising, because he's headed a new party. A party I'm sure we all believe in. Because the other party have tried and they failed. For 16 years, the current government has been in power. And we can all testify to the struggle and the hardship our own families have faced in Fiji. Are we willing to withstand another 4 years? Tell me, are we willing to stand another 4 years for the Fiji first? We all want change.
Yes.
And that's why our party leader is here. A few weeks ago, they were in Sydney, fundraising. And this week, they blessed us with their presence. They're here, even though we're much smaller, that they confirmed to us, Aotearoa New Zealand is fully committed to supporting the party. So I thank you all very much for supporting and buying the tickets. Who would have thought Fijians in New Zealand can fork out $200 for a dinner? As you know, most of us will be used to $50 next month. Maybe the Murray's Club, $100. Not the RKS old boys. Or KBS old boys. But today, you're here because you paid out $200 a ticket. Pasok semua, pinawali. And all that money will, I can't say it, there's certain things you can't say. There's some people in Fiji are watching. But this fundraising is our fundraising. We'll get the money, then we'll decide. Because I can't go out and say it's going to go straight to their pocket. And that's the terrible situation we face in Fiji. Every aspect of life in Fiji is controlled. Sometimes dia menangawal. Sometimes dia menang. Mulai sautu na boleh biru buat dia biruman. Sa cukup ko na natigiliw na ba ni Nilkina. Laran na kanda na ding na coach ka na labaw. Kung ano dapat ni Nilkina na munimito ko. So, without further ado, I will ask one of the vice presidents to come forward to introduce our leader, and then we will continue with the evening. So once again, kita balik na lumiya rumay. Kita kita baru tak balik na song na kami sinikuan. Imbang dari kita mau terjun. Kita balik. So aku orang na kita terbuka.
Kia ora. Firstly, I wish to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that I stand on, Nai Fatua, who we visited this morning. We were very honored with a traditional welcome and acceptance into the Nai Fatua tribe. It was a real blessing for a special day today. Now it gives me great honor to introduce our speaker tonight. Please know that we are not guests to this event. In fact, you are the guests. And it's a very special time for us to have you here because you believe in the cause that we have brought to you. Thank you very much, Nakalevu. I wish to introduce our speaker tonight, who is no stranger to us. He's a former Fiji rugby representative, a former Fiji rep to the Commonwealth Games, a former military commander, a former Prime Minister, certainly the former Prime Minister that crowned me Miss Hibiscus. And also the former Prime Minister when I was at Andida Kumbao School and was Dux of the school. I give you our party leader for the People's Alliance, Mr. Sitiveni Rambuka.
Sanchico!
Great to be back. I'm here because I've been voted out so many times. At the national polls, at the party elections. But I'm here because I just can't afford, I just can't avoid fighting for what I believe in. So it's good to be back in a land of long white clouds, out there raw, and spend time with you. Isang Purmanaka, kia ora, namaste, good evening one and all. Some of you may remember watching the live feed from the dinner we had in Sydney. You would have noticed that my speech was missing. I didn't have the prepared speech that I should have had. This morning, I made sure I have one. It's good to have one, but it really doesn't matter. I have one, so I can look very official as I address you, this distinguished gathering of Fijians in Aotearoa. I also say Sambula to those who are watching this live feed on Facebook, wherever you are. Mulunaka. Great evening here in New Zealand, and we hope you are having fun also where you are. When we came on Thursday, it was raining cats and dogs in Fiji. People were swimming across the streets in Bar and Randy. We got here beautiful sunshine. I thank God for that. I thank you for your prayers. This is not just about socializing. This visit reflects the importance I give to the relationship between our country, Fiji, and New Zealand, and the very close relationship I believe we still have as people of Fiji, those of us at home and those of you who are here. This morning I had the good fortune of visiting representatives of the tribal landowners and owners of this land. We were very warmly welcomed. I said to them, unfortunately, I cannot honestly say to you that I bring greetings from the chiefs of Fiji. Their council had been trashed and the meeting house burnt. But they welcomed me very warmly and reminded me that there was a delegation that was sent to talk to me in 1987 to find out if something like that could be done here in New Zealand. I told them, this is not the way to do it for you in New Zealand. Go back and do it with the people and the government of New Zealand. Have a relook at the Treaty of Waitangi. They came back and moved for a relook at the Waitangi Tribunal, which gave rise to many of the solutions to the land that they said they had lost those years, many years ago. So it might not have been good for Fiji, but at least it started a wave of recognition around the world. We're here as guests of these great people. They have been struggling, and we are very, very fortunate to have lived through this year and this age, in this era, where the government of the people of New Zealand have given due recognition to the Maori people, the traditional landowners of this great land. We have been blessed with the love and care since we arrived on Thursday. I had the pleasure of having dinner with Mr. and Mrs. Vimal Kumar and his family, and his and our friends, Shalendra, Raju, Mark Chand, and his daughter, Chanel Sudakar, Choco, our security and driver and everything, Baran, and there was a group from the western side who very diligently attended to our Mbana and later wine. Thank you all very much. On Thursday night, that was. Last night we had our traditional ceremonies of welcome, and I thank those involved. It's very encouraging that we have come away from Fiji, yet we still have composers among us who composed a beautiful mecca last night for young girls, some of whom have never performed before, to perform before us last night. I thank them all. I thank Sai Lelia for being here and for being there all the time. When we started, with the young people at home, I called with the singers and a group of you who are here tonight. You called me asking, how can we help? And I thank you for your faithfulness. I thank you for your commitment. This morning we went to the Tauke de Benua, the Ngati Patua, Orake, the tribal landowners of Auckland, the Waitemata Harbour, also known as Auckland Harbour. At the sacred Bure, or Marae, on Tamaki Road. On this trip, I'm once again accompanied by my friend, Setu Sarewari. A long-time friend, dating back to our Army rugby days. Setu Sarewari of Granata in Laos, who's also been instrumental in supporting this movement and the young people who went out for signatures to get us registered. In 1977, Chakris and I propped the Army scrum. After playing the Fiji test against Tonga, I resigned from the Fiji team because I had to bring the Fiji Army team to New Zealand. And Revale was one of the props on that tour. Our first game was against Royal New Zealand Navy in Devonport, HMNZ Tamaki. It was a very hard and physical game, in which Sakyusa scored our first try. But he had to barge through the whole of a Navy pack, inspired by our team cry at the time, Matilata, Maingana Mai. Kenavo Matilata. We won that game. But Saki didn't remember the rest of the game. After the Navy medics revived him on the scoring line. He couldn't believe us when we told him at the end of the game, you scored the first try. And he said, did we win? He was pleased that we had won that one. My key engagements until my departure next week include courtesy calls on His Excellency the King, the Maori King, the Lord Mayor of Auckland, and the former leader of the opposition, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of Defense, the Honorable Phil Goff. Protocol may have made my requested calls on the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs and Pacific people impossible. So we may not have that courtesy call. In one of my previous visits, I called on the then Lord Mayor of Auckland, the former Olympics and Commonwealth Games field events great, Mr. Les Mills, who has made his name as a brand in the physical fitness pursuit here in New Zealand with a powerful statement, taking fitness to the next level. He has been a great motivational figure for me. Since we met at the Commonwealth Games Village in Christchurch for the Commonwealth Games in 1974, in which I captained the Fiji team. He then took time out to come and coach some of us from the Pacific, and he knew most of us were self-coached. He helped me a lot. And my performance at the game put my shot put record right up next to the great Maraika Tirakau, who won a gold medal at the Commonwealth Games here in Auckland in 1950. If you care to look at the athletic records in Fiji, you'll see Maraika Tirakau situated in Mama. A few minutes with him then improved my performance, as I've said. But I've followed his track record. I want Les Mills to know that he has not stopped inspiring me. Now, with your help, I want to take Fiji and Fijians to the next level. Come on. The next level of peaceful, prosperous, and progressive living. Let me now express some special thanks to those closely involved in the organization of this visit. I mentioned Sharendra Raju. I've also mentioned the Rasinas, Matagali, Chalishori, former Member of Parliament, and I acknowledge the other former members of Parliament who are here. I will mention their former party later on in this speech. I think they'll be very happy. I acknowledge the Walalabures, I acknowledge Atera, Absalome was here in front. In fact, I thank and acknowledge all of you for your support, making this evening possible, and I'm sure it will be enjoyable. There is someone else I'd like to mention, but I was told by Mr. Raju that he's not here tonight, and that is Thakur Ranjit Singh. He approached me a few months ago as a passionate advocate for increasing awareness and knowledge of the history, heritage, and achievements of the dignitaries of Fiji. That surprised me, because I felt Ranjit would probably not have been well disposed to me following 1987. But I was touched and thankful to learn that he had essentially put that period behind him and accepted the rebirth and atonement of Sitwell in Wamanda. He was committed, like so many others, to my vision and that of the People's Alliance of a tolerant, inclusive, and kinder Fiji. He also wants to take Fiji to the next level of a kinder, peaceful, prosperous, and progressive Fiji. Our aim is to build this with the people, with you people, and all the people back at home. All of us coming together in the realization that we need each other. We are, in a certain sense, brothers and sisters and neighbors, and we should endeavor to live that way. Fiji is home to us all, and we owe it to the country we love to rid ourselves of the differences that have divided us. Ranjit, this former severe critic of what I once was, wrote to me proposing a Gilbert public holiday. He was disappointed at the lack of interest in such an event by the two-man government currently in power at home. It took Ranjit's letter and our conversations to finally crystallize my thinking. And there is hope in my mind. Yesterday, Matariki was celebrated for the first time as a public holiday here in New Zealand. Acknowledging the Maori culture and the history, celebrating the vibrance of New Zealand's multiculturalism of today, and jointly hoping to take New Zealand to the next stage of nationhood. The New Zealand government's willingness to have Matariki Day declared as a public holiday has strengthened my resolve to revive the SLR School Day and to have the Gilbert years are integral to our history. They belong to Fiji. Their journey from India over the black waters and the adoption of Kalapani as a feature of their journey, their subsequent initial service to the sugar industry, often accompanied by brutal treatment, was just the beginning. What they did in the larger economic and social environment was instrumental in the building up of the Fiji as we knew then. Hopefully, the Fiji we will see again in future. So to me, a national holiday in honor of the Gilbert year would be PAP, People's Alliance remaking of Fiji. Taking it to the next level. So thank you, Ranjit. You're watching this live streaming or not? I thank you. I thank Ranjit and all his colleagues from Gilbert Foundation of New Zealand for that initiative.
They are here.
Oh, you're here?
Yes, one
Where's the table? Okay, thank you very much. I'm sure we all want to remember the late Professor Bridgelock. We will remember him and we will continue to inspire us. You also have, and we're all proud, that a grandson of a Gilbertia who arrived in Fiji in 1911 became the 19th Governor General of New Zealand. From 2006 to 2011, Sir Anand Satyanand. He has set a benchmark for those of you here in New Zealand. And many of you have become very successful here. And I remind you that the sky is the limit that is makeable. You can make it. Keep going. A PA government would also reinstate the Rap School today, as I said, scrapped by Madam Rama and I had said Kayum for reasons that have never been made clear. Rap School labored very hard to transform Fiji's chaotic, haphazard and corrupt land leasing system. He knew this had to be done, not just for the landowners, but also for the tenants and for Fiji's economy as a whole. What he finally achieved gave the country many advantages and laid the foundation for development and cooperation for diverse peoples to live and work together. The landowners were beneficiaries, and so were the cane farmers, descendants of the Gimmikians, and so were the investors and businesses and those seeking residential leases. So let us all pay tribute to that great chief and his accomplishments. In my speech this morning at the Marae, I mentioned Rap Salalaspuna and also his brother, but I wrongly referred to his brother as Ratutiale Wellington. Should have been Ratutiale Wimbledon, Wiasawa, who joined the Maori Battalion and fought in the First World War in Palestine, while Rap Salalaspuna fought with the French Foreign Legion in Europe. I pay tribute to you as well, what you do for Fiji. You belong to a diaspora of former residents who now live in a number of countries. The New Zealand diaspora is of particular importance. Although you have settled here, we know that through your memories and through your love for your families, you continue to retain those links. Not only retain the links, you send money home. The personal remittances in the last 2 years topped $1.5 billion. Thank you very much for loving us. As a politician, I must now get on to something political. I'll talk about the election. We keep hoping that we will have one. I'm sure we will have one. I believe we will have one. That's why we're here. We're preparing for one. The dates have not yet been announced. But I ask all of you who have not been registered, please register. And on the day you have to cast your vote, at the postal ballot places, please go and cast your vote. And if you're still not sure who to vote for, you have a choice tonight. Do that and you'll be helping us in a very real way to change and get rid of nearly 16 years of oppression by a despot who rules through fear, abuse of rights, vindictiveness, unwillingness to compromise or to be accountable. I now highlight the People's Alliance and the National Federation Party agreement. We have negotiated a memorandum of agreement with the National Federation Party. It signals our joint commitment to overcoming the division, suspicions, and tensions of the past. It is also good policy. The memorandum of understanding between the People's Alliance and the National Federation Party binds us to collaborating through mutual trust and good faith to attain the best interest for all the people of Fiji. We intend to negotiate a coalition government in what we consider to be the likely prospect of winning the majority of parliamentary seats. Of course, we will take nothing for granted. We will have to work hard for it. There will be no complacency. We will campaign relentlessly, and we might even be back again.
Oh, yes.
A coalition may include other parties with similar beliefs and values, ready to work in the spirit of partnership that we represent. The National Federation Party and I have a record. We have the 1997 Constitution that we worked together for. And it's sad that we do not have the 1997 Constitution in operation now, but it's also a proud product of a son of his land, Sir Paul Reed, the late Sir Paul Reed. And the National Federation Party was formed mostly by descendants of the Gilbert.
That's right.
There are many things that we would like to bring up. They're part of our manifesto that will be announced in due time about the cooperation, closer cooperation that we can have with New Zealand, making Fiji and other Pacific Islands stronger so that we stop relying totally on aid from Australia and New Zealand. There will be mutual benefit, and we will be talking to government officials hopefully before, but certainly after the general elections. New Zealand has been a front runner in strategic thinking in the Pacific. They were the ones that moved for the declaration of a Pacific, of a nuclear-free Pacific. You saw last week or earlier this week, the Prime Minister, our Prime Minister and the Minister of Defense, talking to some senior leaders about nuclear weapons or the non-proliferation, etc. And we did more than 30 years ago, the short one, short two, etc. We're doing it again. How much result will be achieved, I do not know. I still believe we should concentrate on addressing climate change, something that we have very close interest with New Zealand in, and very good cooperation from our neighbor. So now, to end this, I'd like to just ask for your trust. Many of you, some of you knew what I did. Some of you believe I have changed. Some of you are still considering. After tonight, I hope you will talk to those who are convinced. Well, you made a commitment by paying that much to come to this dinner. I don't go all the way and vote.